So I don't know about you guys, but I use the engine. Not during the game, that would be cheating, and cheating is for mouth breathers. But after the game, afterwards, I like to use the engine to analyze, see where I blundered, and then use that to see where I can improve later for next time. So today I'm gonna teach you guys how to do exactly that. How to analyze with the engine to find your weaknesses, find your strengths, and just improve at chess and get rid of your old mistakes. So let's get into it. In chess today, we use something called algebraic notation. Moves in this notation are identified by numbers and letters. Letters going across and numbers going up and down. In this way, we can identify specific squares. For instance, we could refer to A2 or G3 or G4, and we're gonna know exactly where that is on the board. Now that we know how to identify squares, we can understand how chess notation works. So if we're moving a pawn, for instance, we'd use the letter of the file that the pawn is on and where it's going. So one of the starting pawns, A2 to A4, for example, would be a move. But you wouldn't say A2 to A4, you just say A4. And pawn moves are always lowercase. Piece moves, we would do the same thing by naming the square, but instead of using lowercase, we use uppercase. And the piece letters are as follows. We use capital R for rook, capital B for bishop, capital K for king, capital Q for queen, of course. And this is the weird one some people don't know about, the knight. Because the king is already using the letter K, the knight has to use the letter N. Now that we know how to read and understand how to use notation, we can move on to the next step. Learning to identify squares and coordinates quickly. So chess.com actually has a great tool for this on their site. It's a coordinates trainer, and basically it'll give you a time limit. You have to click on specific squares in a certain amount of time. Using this tool can be very effective in getting comfortable with where the squares are on the board, getting a knife for it quickly, so when you see a move, you know exactly where it is without thinking too much. Now that we know what notation is, and we know how to read it, and we know how to identify squares quickly, now we're ready to analyze.
To get the most out of this, we want to analyze first without the engine. So let's take this game, for example. I'm playing a 1947 guy. I played this game last night, and I want to see, how I can improve, what I did wrong, why I lost this game, because I did lose this game. First, we're going to go through it without the engine, like I said. See if we can figure out on our own what went wrong and what happened. So, just going to play some moves. And here, this is the first example of a move. I wasn't sure during the game. My first idea here was to get rid of this bishop. It just seems very strong to me. I want to play d4 at some point, but right now there's too many defenders for that square. So I was thinking, let's get rid of the bishop. If I can get rid of it, then maybe I can play f4. And I think it's a pretty good move, but at the same time, we'll have to see with the engine later. So he ends up moving it back. Game continues. Just gonna play through these moves real quick. And just notice things like that. See if it, something you can improve on. So here, let's get to the critical moments of the game. The point of moving this knight back was I want to get on this d5 square. Here. And then he plays here to kick my knight. And then we take. And then here, the engine may not have liked this. I'm thinking that probably was a mistake to give up the bishop pair. That giving up this pawn is probably okay because this bishop's going to be really strong. But my idea was I didn't want to give up the pawn, so I took. If queen doesn't take, then he opens up his king. And if queen does take, then we're able to adequately defend the pawn. So I took, and then I played queen c2. I want to defend this pawn right here, and maybe also defend this pawn as well. He brings his rook in. I decided to play f4, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to get rid of that bishop earlier. And then he checks me. I don't think that's really a big deal. I can screw my king out of the way, so I move my king to h1. He plays bishop a6, looking to attack this pawn, so I ended up playing b3 to defend. Moves his queen back. And we're just going to keep playing through these moves. And here, this is my first big blunder of the game. You'll notice if you're doing your tactics here, this bishop is lined up on this queen. If this pawn ever moves, this queen's lost. So here he can actually take on d5 with the queen, surprisingly enough. Giving up his queen for the bishop temporarily, but then once we take back, his bishop's going to take us. So that's what he did in the game. Not yet, he will. And I play e6, looking to open up this diagonal, this king, maybe, but this probably wasn't a good move because I just gave up the pawn. And I go on to lose this game. He just got 2 extra pawns. It's just hard to handle. My king can't stop both of these guys. So, yeah, so why did I lose? Probably because if we go, why did I lose? Probably because if we keep going back, to around, I mean, I blundered a little bit before, but this moment, instead of taking or defending, maybe defending this bishop, I decide to play a really aggressive but not very smart move, and I give up the pawns, and then I'm not able to, this pass pawn's too strong, probably. So now we're gonna analyze again, but this time with the engine, and see what it wants us to do, see if we play the right moves, that kind of thing. I'm gonna turn the evaluation and the lines and the feedback on, and we're just gonna go through this game again, see what I could have done. Yeah, so we're playing book moves so far. Here. Okay. And knight a4 actually was the best move. I wasn't sure about that move during the game, but looks like the engine wanted us to play that. He moves it back. Here, that was an inaccuracy. And he didn't want me to take, he just wants me to castle here, actually. So he takes, we castle. And guys, really what I'm doing, you can play through the games, you can see the icons they give you, but also at the top right, you can, as you can see up here in the top right, the engine will actually give you the lines and the way the game would go if you play certain moves. So let's say we play, instead of the move I played, we play queen c2. Here we can continue the line. They might play knight g4, or now it's changing a little bit. Knight doesn't know what it wants. Queen d7 is a move here, and if they play queen d7, our best move is e5. Continuing down this line. I don't know if I have my cursor on or not, but all the way down, and you can see what the computer is recommending for both sides for multiple moves down the line. But that's one way to that's how you read the engine, guys. If you want to know why is this move brilliant, why is this move good, why is this move bad, that's how you know, is these engine lines on the top. And so the game continues, and let's see if I was correct in my thinking earlier of why I lost. Well, that wasn't the best. They want us to push e5 here. Just keep going, keep going. And yeah, that was the blunder I was talking about, actually. But he didn't take, he didn't see it. It's a missed win. Another blunder by me. So I ended up blundering here like 3 times in a row. Yeah, they want us to play a queen f3. So he takes, and then I go on to lose. But now I know, hey, sharpen your tactics. And if they have a pass pawn like this, we don't want to give up a pawn, you know, in that situation. So I'll know for the future, in future game. So yeah.
The whole goal of analyzing, and really the whole point of this whole thing, is to have a takeaway. Learn something from your games. Find something in your game that can teach you a lesson for next time. Whether it be missing a tactic or just something simple, just like hanging mate 1. Doing these things will improve your chess, trust me. Soon enough, you'll be better than all your friends. Might be me, who knows. But that's it for this time, guys. So, like and subscribe, or you'll blunder your queen in your next game. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.